Well, good morning everybody. This is Chris, also known as Papa Sprout from Loma Acres Homestead. As you can tell, we're not on the homestead today. This weekend is the weekend before Mama Sprout's birthday, and I got a special trip in store for her. Stopped about halfway to our location at Alum Creek Lake in Ohio. We're about halfway there, and I want you to join us for the rest of the day. Mind, I'm not going to take you in the car with me, but we're going to have a lot of fun today, and I can't wait for Mama to be surprised. We'll see you in a little bit. Here we are at Lehmans. We got a bunch of YouTube channels here today. I'm going to give you a sampling of a few of them that we got to meet. We're really happy and thrilled to have met them, and we're going to start out with Sakima's Ridge. Did I pronounce that right?
Yeah,
Sakima's Ridge Homestead.
All right, so let's tell everybody a little about yourself. Start out with your names.
I'm Brian.
I'm Paula.
Brian and Paula, what do you guys do on your homestead?
Oh, well, we have chickens and peacocks and horses, a lot of cats and dogs. We're working on about 100 by 50 garden this year.
Yeah.
Nice.
We have two beehives that survived this year. We do a lot of videos with our equipment and repairs, and we do everything ourselves. So we do a lot of tractor videos and truck videos, and anything we need to repair, we try and film it if possible.
So what are a couple of the vegetables that you're growing in your garden, vegetables or fruits, that you're growing this year that's got you the
That's
most
you.
excited?
Pumpkins, of course, always pumpkins. They're my favorite, but I'm growing cotton this year.
Cotton.
Yeah, I planted like 150 indoors. It hasn't gone so well. I don't know why they're dying off. I'm down to about 50 now, but green and brown and white cotton.
And what are you going to do with that?
Just for ornamental.
Okay.
I do craft shows, craft
Great.
stuff, so
I can teach you how to spin that.
I wanted to try well, I don't plan on taking it off the stem, it's just staying on the stem. But if it makes it that far, Ohio's a hard state
It
for
is
that.
hard for cotton.
But other than that, just the norm, tomatoes.
Tomatoes, peas.
I'm not doing green beans this year because he doesn't much care for them, and we have a ton.
We canned a lot of green beans last year.
I think those are like a real good
And
dinner
strawberries,
canner
I'm doing
vegetable
strawberries
with
again
green
this year.
beans.
Yeah.
You mentioned pumpkins. Are you doing like jack-o'-lantern pumpkins or
I
baking?
do all, not baking, that's too much work. I'm doing all kinds of pumpkins, from the big ones. I actually found a blue one with purple stripes on it.
Interesting.
That came from China this year that I'm going to plant. But I always do the whites and the blues and the fairy tale pumpkins.
Yeah, probably half our garden is ornamental. With the pumpkins are used ornamentally, and like the Indian corn and the cotton. A lot of it's more for a crafting side than for eating.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I look forward to watching about the pumpkins. Let me tell you, we're doing a couple different kinds of pumpkins. We're doing this type that generally are for jack-o'-lanterns. We're doing sugar pumpkins also, so we can make pumpkin pies this
okay.
year. So I look forward to that. So, guys, this is Sakima Ridge. We'll leave a link down in the bottom. We hope you give them a check out and let everybody know if you like them and whatnot. Thank you. Thanks. Yet another channel we found at Lehmans today, Farming Our Backyard. Would you guys go ahead and introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about what you're doing on your farm this year, or your homestead?
I'm Jerry.
I'm Nathan.
We live on an acre. My parents have a 100-acre farm, and we just live we have a fenced-in acre, and we're trying to grow more of our food and just live more of a sustainable life.
So, garden this year?
Yeah.
The raised beds will have about 300 square feet of raised bed, and
Just build a greenhouse with a raised bed around it.
Nice.
and then we probably will
I
have
have greenhouse envy.
we'll probably have about 700 feet of in-ground garden if I get it worked up.
That's pretty good. What kind of, all vegetables and fruits? What?
We just planted strawberries. We planted about 40 strawberry plants. But that's pretty much the only fruit. Well, we grow tomatoes, which is, everyone wants to tell you it's a fruit, so I guess we grow a lot of fruit.
We planted a bunch of tomatoes.
I planted like 50 tomato starts 2 weeks ago, and it just started coming up. But we grow pumpkins, potatoes. I'm gonna try turnips for the first time this year, even though I've never really tried turnips. I'm gonna grow them and
Do you know you
then I'll
can
eat
make
them.
turnip donuts?
No, I had never heard of turnip donuts.
Well, because turnips taste a lot like potatoes. So have you ever had a potato donut or like potato bread?
I had potato bread.
So they have really old recipes from like that came over on the Mayflower because
Yeah.
they didn't they had a hard time growing potatoes when they first came over because they didn't know the soil. So they grew turnips because they grew really, really well in the New World, and they made donuts with them.
That's cool.
And they're actually really good.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, so we'll see. Maybe I'll do a live turnip tasting or something. See if,
Oh, that'd be great.
how I can get them done.
What, of the things you're growing this year, what are you probably most excited about?
Tomatoes.
Tomatoes?
I love tomatoes. Growing up, I didn't really like tomatoes, but now I love tomatoes. I make a lot of spaghetti sauce with my tomatoes. I froze a lot of it last year, and we canned some. We're going to try canning more this year.
Are all your tomatoes the red variety, or?
No, I have black and
Purple.
purple.
There's a yellow.
Yeah, I might have a yellow.
A yellow sometimes.
Nice.
We're kind of boring. We're just doing one. I wanted
No,
to
we
try.
we got purple, Russian purples
Oh, we
from
did get
Baker's
Russian
Creek.
purple.
I
That
didn't
was,
even think about bringing seeds to you because I have extra tomato seeds because I
Well,
bought.
I was gonna try those atomic grape ones.
Yeah.
But the reviews were so mixed, and the seeds were kind of expensive. So I was like, I'm gonna wait and see how they grow this year because they're kind of new on the scene.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna wait to see other people grow.
Yeah, I
them.
had looked at some of the seeds and I just never ended up ordering from Baker Creek because I had ordered from M.I. Gardner and I just never
But
got
we
around
did.
to it.
We got glass gem corn that we're doing in black nebula carrots. So I'm pretty excited about those because I can use those as a dye, and it actually turns like bright pink. So.
Oh,
so other than turnips, everything you're growing, you like, or you just kind of experiment with anything else this year?
do we get beets too? I think we did.
We might have got beets too. We talked about beets. We'll probably grow some beets. And we don't. I like them pickled, but I've never had them fresh.
But we'll grow green beans. I think mostly everything else we've grown before.
Planning on growing a bunch of green beans because we froze almost everything off of that last year, and it wasn't hardly enough. So.
Beets are really sweet.
Yeah.
So did you get sugar beets or did you just get?
I'm not even sure if I picked any up, but if I didn't, I still will try them yet.
Yeah.
I think we didn't get sugar beets. I did end up ordering some from the Gardner, but I don't remember what variety it was. I haven't started them yet.
See, we didn't hear about M.I. Gardner until after we bought all of our seeds for this year. So next year we're actually going to probably buy quite a bit. And there's still a few things we might buy from him this year.
Yeah, everything's $1, so it's
Right.
cheap.
Right. Wish we'd have known about him before that because it would have been a lot cheaper. And from what I understand, Baker Creek and M.I. aren't that much different in quality. So
You just get less seeds from M.I. Gardner, but do you really need 250 whatever? So.
Right. So, well, thanks for your time, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll leave the link for Farming Our Backyard in the description. Please go give them a like, and we'll go to the next channel. All right, y'all, another channel we found, J Love Adventure. Why don't you guys go ahead and introduce yourselves? Tell us a little bit about what you're doing on your homestead.
Hi, I'm Jess.
I'm Alex. I'm Jeremy.
I'm Kara.
I'm Tim.
We are just starting the homesteading journey. All we have right now is a garden. I don't have any animals as of yet. We're on a 1/4 acre in central eastern Ohio. We're just doing what we can, learning what we can. I started gardening last year and I went from 2 small garden beds, raised garden beds, to I've tripled it. I've tripled it this year.
What's the rough amount of square footage of gardening you got?
I actually figured it out. It was like 300 square foot of growing space.
Oh, that's pretty good. That's
Yeah,
really pretty
not
good.
including the walkways or anything.
So I don't know.
And not including their bed. That's just my beds.
Oh, so the kids have a bed?
They are
that
having
doing?
their own bed that they are going to garden this year.
That's really great. That's really great. I don't know how much of our videos you've watched, but that's exactly the situation we're in. 1/4 acre in the neighborhood, and we can't have any agriculture or animals at all. So we don't even have animals other than our dogs. So I think it's kind of neat that someone else is starting the journey right about the same time we are. So mostly vegetables, all vegetables, some fruits in there?
I've got some fruits. I've got a lot of strawberries. Lots of strawberries. Some raspberries, blueberry. I planted blackberries last year. They never came up, so there's two sticks in the ground. I don't know. There are two sticks in the ground. They still are at the moment. I don't know if they'll come up. I've heard of people having stuff come up after years, and sometimes it's just dead, but we'll find out. But I've got blueberries and grapes
And
raspberries, and hopefully we'll get some fruit off of them this year.
Right, we canned some of those last year, and some of them
my
made
mom
great
has
jellies.
some strawberries too. I eat all of
Yeah, I
the
started
blue-
making jelly.
I
I
eat
think
all.
more common in our area than having any fruits in the ground for a garden is vegetables. So I assume you guys are doing vegetables too.
Lots of
Any
vegetables.
any
I
kind of
mostly eat
what
all
we would
the
call
blueberry
oddball stuff because
jelly.
everybody's doing tomatoes and green beans, so that's common. So
We
what
just had our first asparagus.
We did.
asparagus.
I
Yeah.
planted it last year.
So yeah, this will be the first year it comes
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
You'll never be able to get rid of them, and that's a good thing. That's a good
Crazy.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was. She doesn't like asparagus, but we actually did
I
a
do.
little.
I like
did you
ours.
post the clip?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we actually do
I
have a
like it.
video up where I'm like, try this. It's really good.
I didn't like asparagus either. I didn't like it for years and years, and then he was like, I just don't think you had it properly cooked. And then he cooked it.
I
and
liked
was
it
like,
raw.
"Ooh, it's-"
I don't like it cooked.
Yeah.
I
I
eat
like
raw.
it.
and
I like
it's
it like
good.
right in the like when it's perfectly cooked, when it's still crispy, but it's cooked a little bit. So like he knows exactly how I like it, and I can eat it now. So.
Oh, well, I just learned that recipe working at one of the restaurants I've worked in. So, what are you growing this year that you're probably most excited about? And that can be as a family you're most excited, or each individual one of you can say what you're excited about.
I watch a lot of Roots and Refuge, and I love Jess's arches with the beans coming down. So I actually got the Chinese red noodle beans, and I built an arch out of my old bamboo stakes.
Right.
It's leaning a little bit right now.
It's
It's leaning a little bit right now, so I'm gonna have to support it a little more. But I'm excited to grow the runner beans or the noodle beans up that one.
Okay, so your beans grow up and through your arch, and then do the fruit that you pick just hangs down,
That's
and
the
you
idea.
can just basically go through like this.
Yeah.
So now you're going to continue canning.
Yes.
So you're eating in season even when it's out of season.
Yeah.
That's my definition of it anyway. You get it and you preserve it in season, and then, or you eat it raw in season. But if you have to preserve it,
I didn't preserve a whole lot of what I grew last year because it was just 2 little beds, so there wasn't much. But
Sure.
so I started preserving other stuff that we get from the store just for practice and making jellies because they go through a lot of jelly.
imagine that.
I mostly eat the blueberry jelly.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm not a big fan of blueberries myself, but I started preserving like you did. I find a great deal on something at the store, and we're going to get a case of this or whatever. And the first thing I did was strawberry jelly, and then we did peaches. And we've done a few other things since then, of course, before we started YouTubing. But the most recent thing we did is I found an amazing deal on blueberries. I got them, but I didn't have time to can them, so a friend of ours did. I don't like blueberries by themselves, but the blueberry jelly was absolutely my favorite jelly I've ever eaten. It almost didn't get to my kids.
So this year we have three blueberry plants.
Yep, and those will be getting planted in a video probably in a week or so. Blueberries have to be grown within a little bit of an acidic soil.
Yeah.
Just a
And,
little bit.
Our soil is about as alkaline as can be, so we actually bought some of the properly acidified soil that will be here soon, and then we'll get to plant them. And, we've got a lot of fruit that we're growing. We're growing probably half fruit, half. That's probably a quarter fruit, probably 3/4 veggies, and so we'll be doing a lot of canning at the end of the year too, hopefully. So
Yeah, last year, as it started to dwindle down, it would just be like, hey, I want to go out to the garden and see what's left. And we would just stand out there eating peas off the vine and stuff, just trying to clean up.
I was like, I'm gonna plant 22 pea plants. That sounds like a lot. Yeah, they never made it in the house.
it's amazing how different stuff tastes when you get it from the store, and I don't like peas. Maybe the kids might be saying, but you go out and get it off the plant at home. It is just a totally different ball game, and it's amazing to find a difference. So.
Yeah.
Well, guys, thanks for stopping by. It was great to meet you in person for the first time.
It was nice to meet you too, finally.
Thank you.
After chatting for so long.
J-Love Adventure, go give their page a look, and we'll have their link in the description as well.
Bye.
Still at Lehmans, and yet another wonderful YouTube channel we found, The Prepared Christians. Did I say that right?
You did.
All right. So if you guys don't mind, give us your names, introduce yourselves, tell us what you're about, and we'll go from there.
Randy and Tanya Augsburger, The Prepared Christian. Started the channel a little over a year ago. Been blogging under that name for 8 or 9 years. And I write in the preparedness niche. I'm an ordained minister, even though I'm not pastoring anywhere. And feel that prepping, homesteading, that type of lifestyle is a very important aspect of my faith.
And so as a part of your homesteading aspect of things, what kind of things do you have going on?
We live on 30 acres.
I'm jealous. I can't tell you how jealous I am.
We have a family homestead that's been in my family since 1866. We were able to buy 30 acres of it when my grandparents went in the nursing home. So we had to cut 30 acres. That's all we could afford. So, and to be honest, we made a mistake of buying too much. We mortgaged too much. Our payments are too much. It tied up a lot of money we could have been using on a smaller place. But we have a large house built 130 years ago. We have chickens. We grow lots of pretty big garden.
All right, garden. Because where I live, all I can do is garden as far as homestead. I'm not allowed to have bees, I'm not allowed to have chickens, and anything like that. We have a whopping quarter of an acre. Which we have found ways to really make a lot this year, doing a lot of companion planting and growing things as close together as possible, etc. So that's kind of, for this point in time on our channel, that's where I've been concentrating on talking to people. So, vegetables and fruit, vegetables only.
Well, our homestead had, back in the 1930s, my family survived on an orchard that had 99 trees. There's about 3 or 4 of those old trees left. We have some 100-year-old, roughly 100-year-old apple trees. We have a hard storage pear tree. My great-grandfather started planting green gauge plums, and anytime he would find one growing somewhere, he put a line. So we have a whole line of probably 30 yards of green gauge plums that are grown in a big thing if we wanted. We've got wild cherries. We've just mulberry. Oh, mulberries. We have awesome mulberries.
So is there anything you're growing this year for the first time?
I am transplanting. I put a video out last year, and I messed up my transplants of elderberries. I went down the woods, cut them, was going to transplant them in the full sun like we've seen, and didn't work out. I cut some new ones. I've got them ready to go on the ground. I'm going to have that video coming up. We're going to have elderberries that are grown in the full sun like they're supposed to have.
If I tell you the way you spoke with it, I don't even have to ask the next question, but I'm going to ask it in a statement kind of way. Probably the most excited of what you're growing this year is the elderberry, or what you're most excited for to grow this year is the elderberry.
Get my elderberries established, yes, I would be very excited.
All right, well, I'm glad we found you. We will actually be coming and looking through your page. I have not heard of you guys before.
We're small.
And that's all right. Everybody starts somewhere, and usually we start small, right?
That's right.
So, The Prepared Christian.
The Prepared Christian.
We will get their link in the bottom of the description. Thanks for stopping by, guys.
Thank you.
Have a nice day.
Thanks for having us.
No problem.
Good meeting you.
While you're here, have a... Y'all, another channel we found. One of the most exciting channels, in my opinion, that we have found today at Lehmans.
Hello.
Darrell and Sherry.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Doug Stacy.
Family Homestead. I can't believe the growth I've had on my channel. Subscriptions have just been astronomical, in my opinion, and I want to say thank you to you guys for your help in that. Your live chats.
You have a lot to do with that.
Let me tell you, your live chats where I can get on and interact with people. Your Thursday night website help. While you haven't happened to review my page yet, I've watched what you've done with other pages, and I've done some of that stuff on my page. Thank you for your help.
You're more than welcome. More than welcome.
Now, for everybody else, I don't know a whole lot about the Two Family Homestead other than they are real technologically helpful. So let me have you guys introduce yourselves and tell our viewers a little bit about what you do.
I'm Darrell.
I'm Sherry. We're
I'm
retired.
Danny.
We don't do much of anything. Yeah, I'm Wanda. We did that 3 years ago.
Are there any fish involved?
No fish. No fish. A dog and a cat.
Bye, Roger.
I just figured you had a fish called Wanda.
No. No. What?
No, the Danny and Wanda came from Deep South Homestead.
Ah.
I don't think I've introduced my wife to Deep South yet. I'll mention something about them every now and
Our
then.
first homesteading conference we went to was originally 3 years ago. And that's where we met Danny and Wanda, we met Tommy and Patty Alderman from Alderman Farms, and we all went to dinner Friday night before the conference. Well, Wanda was walking around with her camera, her phone, and going to each table, introduce yourself. We sat with Patty and Tommy. So we're Patty and Tommy from Alderman Farms, and then she put the camera over this way, and before she turned it, Darrell leaned over and said, "You're Wanda, I'm Danny." I go, "What? Go with it." Okay. So she says, "And who are you?" And he says, "I'm Danny," and I said, "I'm Wanda, and we're from Deep South Homestead." The look on her face, she almost dropped her phone. From then on in, we've been brother and sister. Yeah, that's all it took. That's all it took. So, yeah,
It's a
we've
wonderful
been
channel,
besties.
wonderful couple from southern Mississippi.
I'll have to check them out.
Have a great channel.
But Darrell's the computer geek. He's been in computers pretty much his entire career. I was in the splotchedly? I don't know.
I think we get that. I know what that
You know
word means
that's
exactly.
scary. That's scary. Yeah. I worked at the phone company for 23 years, and that was the help desk and counting, but it was always on a computer, and I'm a typist by trade, so that's why you see me. I'm the one typing in the chats.
We do. We have a decent sized garden. She has a lot of canning, preserving, dehydrating, cooking.
Interacting with our grandchildren.
Yes. Yeah, we're trying to teach the grand girls.
Well, there's Anthony now, so
Now too.
grandkids.
So
Yeah.
Grandgirls in that one.
And there, yeah.
So
And Smudge, everyone knows Smudge. Smudge was the most popular bean at the shindig.
Speaking of the shindig, I just want to mention for those few of you who may not know, at the shindig, at the gathering for Deep South Homestead, those are the ones I've seen so far. The lives that went for like 6 and 8 hours were put on by these fine folks right here.
And he just found out today that he will be doing the live stream from Doug Stacy's live conference in Hannibal in August. So look forward to that too.
So anyway.
So if I may ask about your garden,
Yes.
any new plants this year that you haven't done before?
No, the ground's not ready to plant.
We're in
yet.
Ohio.
We're in Ohio.
We
No.
can't plant until the
Let
end
me
of
ask that
May.
question better. Are you going to be putting in any new plants
Yes,
this
but
year?
I
Well,
honestly
we got
don't know
new
it.
ones every year.
See what I'm up against? Now you get a feel for what I go through every
Okay.
time around live
Kind
stream.
of feel like
So
we're
no
in the same
perennials.
boat.
Yeah. Yeah.
No perennials.
They're there, but we don't have to replant them. The asparagus.
You're running me well.
Yeah, asparagus comes up every year. The dill comes up
I think
every
you got your
year.
match, Chris.
I think I have.
Rhubarb,
Okay. So any new
tomatoes.
The hot stuff.
Tomato, yeah, horseradish. Yeah.
So these are new species that you
No,
haven't used?
I'm gonna plant different. I'm gonna look up different tomatoes this year because I just love
Comes back
tomatoes.
like a bad weed.
Yeah. Yeah, if you don't pull them and the tomato seeds
Right.
propagate themselves. So we have
Volunteers.
volunteers everywhere, or
You would
beans.
think we was in Tennessee.
Yeah, volunteers. Yeah.
I have definitely met my match, folks.
But we use cattle panels. We have them up flat because that's where the cucumbers grow and the tomatoes grow. We have them as a hoop, and we've done this well before some other channels. We've done them for 10 plus years. I grow sunflowers up them, but I also grow my pole beans. Because that way I don't have to bend over because the beans fall down and all I have to do is pick them.
Sure.
Walk under them. And
Yeah. When you get old and you're, wonderfully rotund, it helps it just to be able to do that.
But
That means this, folks.
But it's a Garden of Eden,
When you're
Garden
young
of
and
Eden
wonderfully
style
rotund,
garden.
it's still the same.
That's
Yeah,
great.
exactly. Yeah, been there and done that.
We're on a rental this year, so I don't want to pump my garden up with the wood
Right.
chips
Sure.
and then have to haul them out. But once we get our permanent place, that's what we're going to do. We're going to try the Garden of Eden style.
Well, and
Took him to that little.
tomatoes and that you can do, or even beans, you can do those as container gardening.
Right.
You get when my daughter moved to Florida, she gave us the big blue barrels. Darrell cut them in half, and
The 55-gallon
the
drums.
55-gallon drums, cut them in half.
The
and
potato bins.
He made them to make potato bins out of them. And that's where we grow our potatoes.
So do you guys generally get enough out of your garden each year that it pretty much is your produce for the year?
Except for last year.
Yeah.
Last year was a terrible year for us.
The only
for
thing I
whatever
got
reason.
was peppers. Animals ate everything
so
else.
much rain last year
All
that
I had was, and our youngest daughter-in-law, when she comes over, she gets this look in her eye. Can I go shopping in your
Now,
pantry?
we do have a very fat groundhog now.
Because they're the ones who eat it all.
The groundhog got
Yeah.
most of our garden last year.
Got
Well-
the hole under our shed.
Now there are some
So-
people, I'm not one of them, there are some people that say, well, that groundhog just became your dinner.
Well,
I don't think I could handle
We're,
that.
yeah.
it's not that bad. If you prepare it correctly.
I will take your
Better
word
find
for
somebody
that.
else to prepare it, because it's not going to be me.
But
You just have to close your eyes and hold your nose. And
Probably.
Although
And
I've
you
heard
need to
usually somewhere around
still in your
February
head.
3rd, there's some good groundhog recipes out there.
Oh, I'm sure there
oh,
are.
absolutely.
I'm sure there are.
Absolutely. Yeah.
well, guys, I'm learning something today too, and I hope you are too.
If you have a chance to come to Lehmans, do so. This place is awesome.
Absolutely. I
Whether
can't.
Doug and Stacy's here or not, we love to come here. We'll be back
You're
in
just a
the end of
bonus.
June. Oh yeah, we'll be back in June.
So anyway, if you'd like to check us out on a more serious note, Monday nights. We
9 p.m.
we
Eastern Standard
feature
Time.
a channel. Generally, not always, generally the homesteading genre.
Yeah, we feature
But-
channels.
But
I wonder what that bump was about. Hint.
we have also had cooking channels, we've had preparation channels, we've had,
Yeah, YouTube. Just have to,
Yeah, YouTube.
And you don't have to be a certain size channel.
no, don't have to be a certain size channel.
Well, that right there is the key, folks. Don't let your subscription numbers in the low 40s, 50s,
Right.
200s, me, 200 at this point in time. Don't let that stop you. If you've got something to put out there, put it out.
Right.
Get with like-minded people and help each other out.
And
That's what it's all about.
Tuesday nights we do, that's kind of our editorial night, I guess you might say.
Tuesday Tech.
Tuesday Tech. You have questions on how to do your YouTube channel, how to edit videos, how to,
Any general PC questions.
yeah. I don't deal with Macintosh questions, nor in telephone questions.
What is your preferred editing software?
Whatever works best for me at the time.
That's a very good answer.
It's a good answer.
And he has several. He does the editing. I do not. I don't have the patience.
I recommend for people getting started to use a program like Filmora,
Okay.
because they can buy that for life for $60.
Remember that.
And it works on Macintosh, it works on Windows. The phone version is free,
Yeah, for more go.
so by all means, that's a very good one to get started. But it's not the end all be all. None of them are. None of them are.
And then Thursday night, he just, about 2 months ago maybe, he started that, like a creator spotlight. And he has a wheel that people chat in the room, and he grabs all the participants, and this wheel spins, and whose every channel name it lands on, he brings that channel up.
Bring that channel up, and we kind of do a mini review. We try to show
the owners of that channel
And we don't
what
do
it
it to
looks like for
embarrass
other people
anybody.
to come in for the first time. You know, how, is your channel easy to find? What information are people looking for? What can you do to make your channel better, increase your subscribers?
Hot spots, about page.
Yeah. So
And how to grow.
I've gotten a lot of good ideas. Those of you that looked at all of my stuff on the first day, as compared to now, you will notice some differences in every single one of them I've got from their Thursday night feed.
Yeah, what started out to be an hour-long session is now, it's 4 hours every Thursday night. So you'll see my eyes drooping about 7 p.m.
we even have I have a thing I can throw out for a quick 2-minute break if we need to.
Intermission. Because I can't sit there with my legs crossed any longer.
So anyway.
Well, thank you guys for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks for all of your help so far.
And it was so
Sherry.
good meeting
You
both
too.
of you.
Yeah.
We enjoyed it. It was
It's been great fun
today.
so far, and I'm
For what
looking
started
forward
out
to
as a crappy, rainy day this morning.
Look who just snuck out.
Here comes the big dog. Here comes
Swing
the.
over this way.
Speaking of tiny
big-
houses,
Next, now summer number 99.
Do we have enough time left, or do we need
We
to
have
start
plenty
it
of
now?
time. We have
All
as
right.
much time as they need, as they can
Mr.
spare.
Doug,
Mr. Doug.
Miss Stacy.
hello, hello.
My name's Chris. My channel is Loma Acres. My channel, along with my wife.
We see your comments in our comment
Yes, we
section.
do,
We know
we
you guys
do.
are watching. Your homestead
We are.
homies.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I'm fanboying out.
We don't
That's
have
right. It's all good, man. I don't know why you tried to
T-shirts
upsize me on the suspenders, but gee whiz, what's up?
I had to match somehow.
Yeah.
Doug and Stacy really need no introduction to probably anybody who watches my channel.
You want to know the funny thing about that?
I feel like a little imp here with these guys here.
I know,
Let me
right?
share the funny thing about what he just said. We were actually at an event before with a smaller channel because we are a bigger channel. And the fellow was excited to meet us just like him. And he was a person that came by to see him, like to see you and not us, right? And he said, oh, that's great and everything. And he says, do you know Doug and Stacy? And the guy looked over at us, cold-faced as all get out, and said, no, I've never seen them, but I love you guys. So I know it's a thing to think that just because we might have a larger channel, but sometimes people don't know who we are, and they might know more who he is. So it's pretty neat like that.
Well, I know that can happen.
Yeah.
I just know who my audience
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
So most of them all know you because I'm in the homesteading industry.
Sure, sure.
So just a quick rundown. We are doing these for our second year this year.
Sure.
Unfortunately, our bees last year all died.
Oh, did they?
I didn't get them enough.
Yeah.
We're
Could be
doing-
a reason.
Doing gardening.
Right.
Because on my little quarter acre, measly little quarter acre, I say that jokingly because I'm very happy with what I have,
Sure.
although we're going to grow. We're doing gardening. In our zoning area, we can't have any agricultural animals. I actually have to keep my bees off site. So, if I may ask you guys about your garden a little bit. I know you do raised gardens. Do you use the wood chip?
Yes, back to Eden.
Back to Eden.
Yep.
I wanted to say east of Eden because that's actually my construction business. And it was not coming out right. You do
Yeah.
the back to
Yes,
Eden
we do.
inside of your raised beds.
That's right. No, actually we do it in a separate area.
Okay.
We're firm believers in using multiple mediums to grow in case you have a failure in one medium.
It's like I call it my insurance because
Yeah.
over the years we found things work sometimes they don't. You have droughts, you have too much rain. Raised beds work all the time.
And we also use the
This-
back to Eden. That way we have two different mediums to grow in just in case something happens with one or the other.
This year in your garden, any new, I'm going to say this right because Darrell was getting me hard.
Right.
Any new species of plants that you're growing that you have not grown before?
Folks, if you're gardening, we're just challenging right now. Do not grow the same thing over and over and over. You should enhance your diet by eating all kinds of different in-season foods, but it's also so fun to try new varieties and new things all the time. So we always are
And
experimenting.
then one thing is there's a lot of times, let's say, people are saying, you should try this, you should try this, you should try that. Well, there's some things you just don't like. So maybe you don't like okra. I mean, people like okra, but maybe you don't. And so sometimes you feel pressured to try some of these things, but if you don't like it, don't grow it.
Right.
But what I will say is there are so many different colors of the same plant. So like beets, like if you don't like the earthy taste of a red beet, try a golden beet because they're not as earthy and they taste better. So if you want to try something new, maybe go with that one. As opposed to you could do purple broccoli, you could do purple cauliflower, you could do purple
We're doing black nebula carrots this year.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
grass gem corn because, variety.
Try
and
it,
And,
yeah.
it enhances soil diversity too. You
Sure.
can't plant the same thing over and over again. It
'Cause
sucks
it's
the
stealing
same
those
out of the
nutrients.
soil.
That's right.
Right.
So it's just like rotation, crop planting. You gotta rotate your garden too.
Yeah, and I just trade, like from one bed I'll have, maybe one year I'll have something, and then I move everything over into the other one with the companion planting with the different herbs. I like to always try different varieties of the same thing, like different types of mints, different types of, like my thing, I love basil. So there's so many different basils.
Yeah.
You got lemon basil and cinnamon basil and Thai basil.
I had no
all the
idea there were so many different basils until I'm looking through the seed catalog. Like, I didn't realize there was more than one basil.
Yeah, and it's fun, and they do taste different.
Yeah.
Like last year I had tried the lettuce leaf basil. They have leaves that are like a lettuce leaf. And so really, if you look at it, you have to use so much basil. If you like basil, instead of doing the regular one everyone uses, like the Genovese basil, the sweet basil, if you get like lettuce leaf, you won't even need to plant as many plants because you're going to get a ton of leaves on it. So.
Well, and our diet is so pared down by using the same kinds of fruits and vegetables over and over again that people don't even realize there's something like a black nebula carrot exists, or what was those red Chinese string beans?
The red noodle beans, yeah, those I love those.
And you're just looking through like I didn't even feel like.
Of all of the new things you're growing this year, do you have one thing that really stands out? I'm really excited to see how this does, how this tastes.
Yeah, well, okay, I got a good answer to that one. Not necessarily like an actual plant that I'm growing. We do a lot with gardening with the moon. So what I have done is little experiments, and the two that I'm really watching are what I did with beets and my potatoes. So different times of how the moon cycles. It's better to plant your leafy greens and then like your fruiting plants and then your root crops. Depending on like the first half of the moon, when it's going from its crescent moon to the first half, doing your leafy greens you're supposed to plant.
So you're planting
and then
according to the lunar cycle.
yes.
Right.
So then it would go from
And then we pushed it on some things, so we're going to be comparing.
So I'm
because a lot of people don't know or aren't confident that that's actually a good thing or a thing at all. So we're going to be able to show you guys firsthand in our
People in the medical field are very familiar with lunar cycles.
Sure.
We very
you
much believe
operate
in
and
them.
everything.
yes,
on that,
totally
right?
with the behavior and
Right.
his sickness
Yes, I
and
try
disease.
to schedule my nights off around the full moon.
Right. Otherwise, you're too busy.
But the plants, especially like with leafy greens, right, when you're starting to get that, the new moon after, you're getting the crescent, it's when the gravitational pull is the strongest and it's pulling up, and so it's going to pull up lots of moisture into the leafy greens. But then after, you get to that point and it's after that half moon and it's going, it's waning away, then you can do your root crops because you want to draw the energy down into the earth
And not the moisture
so
up.
What
So
I've
rot out
done,
your stuff.
what I've done is planted beets during the first half of the moon phase and the waxing phase, and I'm going to plant this next week or so when it's the good time to plant the beets, so I can compare the two. And then I've done the same thing with the potatoes.
Yeah.
So I'm going to compare them and see.
So how do you figure the moon into? How do you figure the moon into what you're planting? What I mean by that is that something that you see from a science point of view or from a spiritual point of view?
Yeah, we just made it up.
Well, no, it's been going around. I mean, this has been going around for
This is
hundreds and hundreds of
ancient.
years.
Right.
It's ancient.
From
They've been using it from
You
history.
just remember, folks, in the scriptures, we're always to be on the lookout for a new moon, for the waning moon, and these are all
And the
signs from the
waxing moon
Father
and the
on when we
crescent
should be
moon,
doing
yeah.
things. So,
Is there a reference book that you can suggest regarding any kind of lunar planting or?
You can, there's a lot of things you can look up on, like astro planting, the lunar cycles and planting, the moon and planting, Farmer's Almanac. There's, all this it's been around for like forever. So basically, they've kind of changed things, and you don't really hear about it as much, but it really works because over the past few years, I do try it, and I definitely can tell a difference. But this year, we're documenting it more on the channel to kind of see, which one I planted with the cycles where they say you get the best, and then just planting during a time when it's okay to plant.
wants to.
Well, anytime. And I'm going to just see if I can see it, because you'll get a healthier plant.
Yeah.
You'll get, a juicier plant, a better tasting plant, and then just kind of compare. So.
And we all want healthier plants.
Right.
We all want healthier plants because healthier plants mean healthier bodies.
Right.
Everybody needs to get more healthy and get out of that sad standard American diet.
It's killing you.
Well, Mr. Doug.
Yeah, thanks for coming out. We really appreciate you guys coming
Yeah,
out.
I appreciate seeing you guys.
Off Grid with Doug and Stacy. They're going to be in our title. They're going to be
in the video.
They're going to be linked below. Please
Yeah.
give them, for like the one person that subscribed to my channel, please go give them a look as well.
The one person on YouTube who doesn't
And
know
also,
who they are.
thanks to them, I mean, there was like 6 people that showed up. So with them here, it really made us feel a lot better. We're always scared to come to events like this and have no one there. So at least we got the 6, the 2 Family Homestead, and these guys were here. So we appreciate you guys showing up.
Yeah, have a good one. We'll see you guys. Bye.
All right, everybody. By now, you know we went to Lehmans to celebrate my wife's birthday. We appreciate you coming along the trip with us, and we appreciate everybody who was there, the interviews that you have seen. We did take a lot of video of some Q&As that Doug and Stacy from Off Grid with Doug and Stacy were giving for everybody. However, we had some technical flubs, so we're not going to be able to use any of that footage, and we hate that. But we hope that you enjoyed the interviews we did, and we hope that you give those channels a like and us. And if you're interested in those, give them a subscribe as well. Their links will all be in the bottom as mentioned previously. And with that, Little Sprout's got something he wants to say.
Hey, hi everybody.